Welcome to the EPP for our first episode of It's a Match. Our first guest is EPP Secretary General Tono López-Istúriz. Hopefully we will have some fun and also learn something. Come on, join us. It's a match, here we go.
Yeah.
I was never particularly good at this. Well, see, now we have a situation already where at least it's good to know that we have a level playing field here at EPP headquarters.
Okay.
So, all right, so we'll start again.
But it's forbidden to do like this round, huh?
As you wish. But anyway, so the first question. My understanding is you're a fan of classic rock. Do you have a favorite band?
Oi, I have many rock bands. Queen, U2, Foo Fighters. I don't know. I just love all kind of music, and I can mention so many Simple Minds. I don't know. There's so many. I don't tend to listen to just one band, or I'm just fanatic about one. I just choose the best from all of them. And fortunately for me, because then I have a lot to listen to. Huh?
Excellent. Maybe an idea for next time is we could even play some music while we're doing this. Anyway, here we go.
That would be great.
We see how important it is.
Here we go. It's a fantastic save.
An own goal.
Sorry.
In 2020, you started a new working group at the EPP focused on foreign policy. Why this new focus, and what have you been working on?
Because some of us, and we are not few, we want that the European Union and all of us together, we have a more decisive presence in the international field. What's going on, for example, in the Middle East? Just as an example, there is an agreement going on between Israel, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and so many others can follow. These are historical events that are happening. Europe has to be there, and we need this common policy. And this is not happening. Sometimes, there is classical discussion between unanimity in the votes, in the council, and majorities. I think that we have to show a single face in foreign affairs to the rest of the world. This is essential. That is why the reason we believed that we had to create this working group in the European People's Party, also to help and to coordinate also our ministers of foreign affairs from the EPP family and people that are experts that we have in our member parties. Great people that, they're been there for years working in these kind of things, just to have all this coordinated. This is our humble, offer. And I think that this is the role also of the the bubble of Brussels with our people, is to coordinate all these efforts. And then we have a single voice, like they always said about the President of the United States, that there is a single phone where to call when it comes to international conflicts solving, where the European Union has much to say.
Well, I know the working group has already done great work in these first few months. So
Okay.
Here we go.
This game is also about coordination. Huh?
Exactly. A lot of lessons that one can learn from any kind of sport or competitive activity. Another point to you. Very good.
Again.
You spend the summer always in Mallorca. How have you seen the island, or how have you experienced it this summer? Has the lack of tourists been noticed? What was your experience there?
Tragic. Not only in Mallorca, but in many, European southern countries, that we have millions of tourists coming from North Central Europe. This has been a very tough summer. And in Spain particularly depends, like Greece maybe, a lot on tourism. Is one of the great enterprises, and job creating things, that give some relief to our economy. That unfortunately, due to the government that we have today in Spain, this mix of socialists and communists, they are not really dealing with this. I just learned that for the recovery fund, the money that the European Union is spending in several countries, European countries, like my own country, the second beneficiary from this recovery fund, Spain, the government of Spain has not yet presented any plan or project for tourism. So, we have to be contrary to Greece, where they have tackled with the question during the coronavirus and the summer in a much better position, thanks to our good friend Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. These are two, unfortunately, bad and good examples on how to deal with this. And, there are many, many thousands, if not some million jobs pending on our good management and the question of tourism.
Actually, that turned out to be a difficult question about Mallorca. Maybe the more fun question would be, what do you love about the island? What would you hope?
Oh, the sea.
Hope to see once again.
I
in the next few
love
months?
sailing. I love sailing, and I spend much of the time in the sea, and as long as I can, because there's always some crisis going on. You know that the European Union is built on crisis, unfortunately, and it's when all member states decided to get coordinated, and then they turn to Brussels. And whenever this happens, I have to leave the sailing and come running, even if it's in the month of August. But in general, that's what I love, the island and the sun. Of course, that sometimes I have to confess here in Brussels, I miss a little bit.
Well, and we just now seem to be entering the period of not so much sun in Brussels. So anyway, a good reminder.
Trying to delay the inevitable, that I will...
Likely. Oh no, I had an easy one.
Sorry.
Point to you. Very good.
I'm becoming too Spanish, too emotional.
You're beating me badly. What's happening with Brexit?
I've always said that I wish that we will end this. The British people decided, not all the British people, but majority, they decided to quit the European Union. I personally think it was a mistake, but I have to respect the results of this. Said so, now the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, for the very first time, even Margaret Thatcher said that the United Kingdom could never break any kind of international agreements. They are breaking now all the agreements we had with the United Kingdom in order to have a good relation after this Brexit. And now we are headed to the hard Brexit, which is damaging for the United Kingdom and for us in the European Union. It's damaging for all of us. And, I always say Boris Johnson is wrong because he believes in the strategy that the British have employed with success in the last centuries to keep the Europeans divided. It was good also, I understand, for the United Kingdom in order to survive in this very complex historical panorama in Europe, no? But now, for the very first time, they are not succeeding. And Boris Johnson is using an old-fashioned technique to keep the Europeans divided, and he's not succeeding. Europeans are united, and we have a fantastic negotiator, Michel Barnier, that's doing a great job, who produced papers, security, to all the citizens, both in the United Kingdom and the European Union, and now it's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom who is violating all these agreements that were so hard to find. Nevertheless, I always, as I said, hope for the best. I can prepare for the worst, and DPP is prepared for that, but I hope for the best, and in the last minute, we can have some kind of deal. And our Irish friends, they know that they're always in our minds. What's going on in that frontier between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, as the Europeans, we're trying to alleviate whatever problem might come because we are aware of what happened in the past. And we want to be part of the solution.
We know these next 3 weeks even will be very critical as the deadline really is the middle of October summit. So.
We will try to be, and here our Prime Ministers, President Donald Tusk of the party and all of us will try to be as supportive of a solution that is both good, because here there are no winners or losers. That's another thing that Boris Johnson has wrong. This is not about winners or losers. This is about, that in this very damaging situation, at least both the European Union and the United Kingdom could could have some kind of agreement that could alleviate some of the problems that will be created, not for Boris Johnson, but yes, for the truckers, for the farmers, for thousands, millions of people, that they depend absolutely in the trade between the European Union and the United Kingdom. So
We'll keep working and hoping
Yeah.
for the best. Well, we'll see.
can I have a fun question? Because
Yeah, well, I
only had
definitely,
one.
I will. No, I will definitely. So that's my fault. Yeah.
You Americans, you know about rugby or football.
You have defeated me. This was not on purpose. I lost fair and square. All right, so I'll ask you another, let's say,
Too many
serious
baseball, too
one,
many baseball.
and then definitely another fun one to finish. So 2020 has been a very difficult year in Europe and all over the world. What gives you hope for the future?
That we stay united. As I said with the Brexit question, as long as we keep united, we can survive. This whole question of COVID, the crisis, international, also economical crisis, is affecting everybody, not only the European Union. And this is something that sometimes it gets overlooked by the European citizens, because we are so much into our internal debate in our member countries and in the European Union that we are not looking what's going on outside. And it's a nightmare for everybody. But as long as we keep together, we can survive. That's clear and transparent. How much could Spain survive outside without the European Union? 5 minutes? Germany 12? Italy 6, 7? I mean, this is the cruel reality. Together we can make a difference, and we can be part of the future global structure that is now being built, because we are facing a new era. It's called digital era, or whatever you want to call. The last one, I have to recall, was the industrial era in the late 90s and beginning of the 20s. I have to recall that this ended with 2 world wars. We are trying here to find a space, and many things are happening. I saw them in the past in history. Confronted with many of the problems created by the industrial era, was born socialism, communism, fascism as populist answers, to the problems created by this. Let's not fail into that. I see the same populists now acting in many governments and in many countries in politics. Let's fight against that. We cannot allow that the same answers, failed answers, catastrophic answers that in the past were created, that this happens now. This new digital era that is exciting, especially for young people, but it has to be on a rational way and does not create the conditions for another war or another situation, catastrophic situation for all of us.
I know you're a student of history and somebody who's
that's
passionate about these issues.
Because and it's good for politics, because I am always a follower of the school that that says that history repeats itself. So the more you know about history, is the things that you can avoid. And the problem with countries and people is they forget their past. They have to remember the past in order not to create the same mistakes. And in Europe, we made some mistakes in the past. Many mistakes. We have to work, and the European Union is the humble answer not to create those same mistakes in the future.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I promised one more fun question before we finish, so I will deliver on that. So, in the final question, this is a good one. Of all the amazing variety of Spanish cuisine, do you have a favorite dish or a favorite meal?
Well, Mallorquinian food, of course, Palma de Mallorca, but also, in general in Spain, gazpacho, in the Mallorquinian cuisine, which, curiously, it's not a light cuisine. Being Mediterranean, it's heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. And, but this is delightful. And
is it more for summer, winter?
Should be for winter, but in any case, it's taken in whatever is the season.
Yes. Well, I would look forward to, I've never been to Mallorca, would look forward to going. I'm sure all of our viewers who have been there would recognize what you're talking about.
And, as the British created, I have to admit, and we have to admit, created soccer and the rules, and also the gentleman sport that is soccer, mm-hmm. So congratulations, you played well. But
Thanks for your concession, or for your.
but it was clear from the beginning that Spain should win.
Obviously, well, thanks again so much for your time, and thanks for all the great work you're doing, for joining us for this first episode of It's a Match.
Okay, thank you all.